Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about my thoughts on the current WWE women's wrestlers that are frustrated in, well, the WWE. And to reiterate, I am a former wrestler fan. I gave up on wrestling years ago, but from time to time I bop in to see what's going around. And also, I tend to watch a couple of the female clips on YouTube and stuff, and older clips of older wrestlers from back in the day. But I have given up on wrestling. And when I saw this article about the female wrestlers being frustrated, I just laughed and giggled. I mean, I'm not surprised. I talked about this before about how, like, just about every wrestler, and especially every female wrestler, like they're not being booked properly. And this is somebody who doesn't even watch wrestling on a weekly basis and stuff. Like, there are too many tag teams, there are too many fractions, and there aren't enough solo people and stuff. But the fact that the women aren't getting booked that properly, it's quite a shame, because there was a time back in the olden days when I used to watch when women wrestling was really nothing. And then they'll both mostly get like a bunch of like women like valets and have them wrestle, and they would be atrocious. But then they were mostly just bikini models and stripping off their clothes and evening gown matches, which as a teenager I loved. But as I started getting older and I started seeing more women wrestle, I'm like, wow, this is cool. They're doing things like the guys. And then they did the whole diva thing, and that was mostly just a bunch of like bikini models trying to wrestle. But then I switched over to TNA, and the women was actually wrestling, and that made WWE take notice to where more of their female talent started to wrestle. And just a few days ago, I was on YouTube and I saw a video of AEW women doing a street fight, and I think it was what's that woman's name who used to be in WWE with all the tattoos? Something Rosa or something like that. Ruby Solo. No, Ruby Solo, I think that's her name. And she was in a match with a couple other people. And it was a cool match. They was doing some hardcore moves. They was bleeding. They were doing things the guys used to do back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Then I was watching something called Reality of Wrestling, created by Booker T and stuff. And the women had like a ladder match. Now, I like the fact the women got creative like the men when it came to the ladder. That's something you don't see WWE women doing. But their moves were all very, very sloppy. And they were sloppy. And it was kind of embarrassing to watch, but it was still cool at the same time. But a little bit of a cringe fest. They have to work on their moves and everything, then it'll be a whole lot better. But still, I gave it more props than what most of the women can come up with in the WWE. And that is a problem. It's not just creative, it's also some of the women. They don't come up with nothing too creative. And when they do, the WWE's all like, no, we don't want you to do that. Like, there shouldn't be so many tag teams in the WWE and fractions when it comes to the women's wrestlers if you're not even going to have them go for the tag titles. When exactly was the last time any of the women's like titles were on a pay-per-view? I don't recall them ever being one in a good long time. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen at WrestleMania of all things, but that's about it. And maybe Elimination Chamber, but you literally have the two tag champions competing solo for the elimination chamber thing. And it's like, why? Why are they going for like the head title when they're the tag team champs and everything? But where are exactly the tag team champs that the tag team wrestlers that I keep mentioning? They're barely on screen, or they're doing something else. Look at Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They started off as an unlikely tag team, and then all of a sudden, Piper started being the bodyguard and everything. And it's like, why? If they're a tag team. If Chelsea's doing the solo thing with the championship belt, then break them up and have Piper do something else. But they won't do that because they have to find room for Piper to actually do something because they don't have her doing anything other than jobbing people. And she is actually a good wrestler. She is very safe. She can actually do some pretty cool moves for her size, and back in her indie days, she was hitting some hardcore moves that the WWE have outlawed and everything. And by the way, can all these micro penis men on YouTube and Twitter stop making fun of her weight and Nia Jax? Seriously, you have no dicks. Plain and simple. If every time you see a video of them, you have to comment, oh, I bet they're chasing after cheeseburgers. Oh, I bet they're in the refrigerator. It's like you never say that crap to a larger male wrestler. So why do you say it to a female one? Because you have no dick. Plain and simple as that. And you wonder why people hate men. It's because y'all are acting like you're all married with children and you're Al Bundy. Well, those days are over with and stuff. And so, like, why have her in a tag team if they're not going to tag team? Then they're releasing all these female wrestlers. So, Sonya Deville is gone, and she was actually a pretty good wrestler. A heck of a lot better than Shayna Baszler and everything. Shayna's just kind of boring to watch now. But she keeps acting like she's the most like baddest thing in wrestling, but nobody wants to see her wrestle. But they was in a fraction. Now it's a tag team and stuff. And so you have them, but you don't have them going after the belts. Like, why? Like, that don't make no sense. They couldn't think of doing nothing with Nikki Cross, so they put her in the Wyatt Six, which, by the way, where the heck are they at? They're like nowhere to be found. I haven't seen like a YouTube match with them in a long time. Are they rebranding them? Are they going to come back as heels? Which they kind of should have started off as heels, giving their look, but they didn't do that. So now, what are they going to do now? Are they being repurposed and everything? Like, are they going to come back looking the way they are? Are they just going to break them up? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because Nikki Cross can actually wrestle, but the WWE doesn't never know what to do with her and stuff. And it's very frustrating. Back in her indie days, she was good too. But they just don't seem to know what the world to do with her. And then you have Naomi. She should have never came back to WWE. Like, never. Because she's a former SmackDown Women's Champ. She was a tag champ, got frustrated, walked out on the company. She went to TNA, and of course she became the Women's Champion because that's just what happens. And, you know, then she gave up the belt and she came back to WWE to do a couple solo matches, win a bunch of matches, but never win that big belt. And she's just a tag champ now because Jade got either hurt or Jade needed more developmental type stuff. And so other than that, she's just doing absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing. And now she's like constantly like, I don't know, they're still doing that whole who attacked Jade thing. People still think it's them. I don't know who it is, and I really don't care no more. Like, I just don't. Like, it was an interesting storyline, but I don't care. Because I don't really care for Jade no more, because it's kind of like, look, you got, what's her name? Jordan Grace or Jordana Grace, something like that. And it's like, they got her in NXT. Why? She's proven herself time and time she can hang in wrestling. She's a former women's champ. She held that other belt in TNA that's like goes between men and women. She has wrestled men. She is huge. Why is she in NXT? Jade should have went to NXT first before she went to the main roster. Because when you look at Jade wrestling, she'll hit a couple of big moves, but they're always sloppy looking. That's why she's back in developmental. Well, that and her supposed injury and stuff like that. And when she comes back from developmental, she better be good. That's all I gotta say. Because hitting sloppy moves is embarrassing. But have you noticed that Jordana or Jordan Grace, whatever her name is, have you noticed that she looks a little smaller now? Which is now leading to speculation that she was, in fact, maybe on the juice. And her voice is starting to change a little bit again. I don't know why she would get on that stuff to begin with, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And then you have, like, Tiffany Stratton, which she's now dealing with crap with the whole Logan Paul thing, which is causing some people to turn on her. Because originally, from what she said, he came up to her and be like, hey, maybe I can give you some pointers. First of all, she's the professional wrestler. He's the amateur wrestler. I think he's a professional boxer, or maybe amateur at that. But it's like, why is he gonna teach her anything when she needs to teach him some stuff? Maybe he can teach her how to get banned from another country, seeing how he's banned from 2 and everything now. Seriously, man. And it's funny because I saw some people, and then she declined to be on his podcast, but I saw some wrestling fans talking about she's making a big mistake by turning him down, and she could really benefit from using his experience and exposure and blah, blah. I know some people like climbing and sliding down poles, but come on now, this is a little too much. The dude ain't exactly all that. And I'm not even a wrestling fan no more. And even I know it's Tiffy time and everything, especially with some of the matches I've seen her in and stuff. Like, her exposure in the WWE is insane. It's to literally where you can't say nothing negative about her online. Like, you can't, because the moment you do, you get like attacked by millions of people and stuff. And then they got the whole Charlotte Flair versing her for the belt and Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble. And it's just kind of like, nobody asked for that. And it's kind of to the point where I'm starting to feel a little bad for Charlotte, because she's been gone for like 2 years and hasn't done anything controversial. Like, she hasn't, like, smacked anybody with the face. She hasn't, like, threw the belt on the ground. She hasn't been accused of racism in years. Remember that? Remember when she was accused of racism and that became a headline, but nothing became of that because nobody knew what the heck happened? And they kind of just dropped that whole, like, investigation type thing. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look who her dad is and stuff. But, like, no, like, I kind of feel bad for her because now everybody's hating her because, once again, the WWE act like she's the holy savior of, like, wrestling. It has to save wrestling from, like, what it is and stuff. And nobody wants her to win, like, the Rumble. Nobody wants her to win the belt. And most likely, I don't think she's going to win the belt. With all this backlash, they had to do the whole Rock thing and turn her heel at WrestleMania. She's not winning that belt because they know WWE fans are going to riot if Tiffany Stratton loses that belt. And speaking of The Rock, look, his daughter, it's time for her to get released. It is. And I see all the fake love for her online, but why? She can't wrestle. She can't cut a promo. Every time, like the whole general manager thing, no wrestler or whatever person working as a general manager is a real general manager. It's mostly just them acting on TV. The real stuff is the people creating it backstage. So she can't even do that properly because every time she's on screen, she always looks bored out her mind. She always looks uncomfortable. She always looks like she don't know what's going on. I can never hear what she's saying. Like, seriously. Why is she there? Because her dad is on like the board of directors and everything. And whatever he says goes. Like his entire family is getting pushed and everything. And it's just like if she can't cut it, she needs to leave. They released all those talented wrestlers and they kept her. I ain't for that crap. And so yeah, I would be frustrated too if I was a woman in the WWE because all this crap is happening and nothing's actually happening. Tamina hasn't been seen in 2 years. You got Mi Chen talking about she doesn't know who her character is, and I don't think nobody else does either. You have Sol Roca, I think that's her name. Like she's a great solo competitor, but yet she's stuck in a tag team now. And why? Like, how are you supposed to build her up by herself if you're gonna keep her stuck in the tag division? Nia Jax is the monster heel, but she's too busy on Twitter arguing with people because she's standing up for a guy who threw his wife or ex-girlfriend or something down like the stairs and threw her out the house, and she's like defending him and stuff. And it's just like, keep that woman off Twitter. And Bailey is literally just there. She's literally just there. Dakota Kai is constantly getting hurt, and it's just like, man, she can't catch a break. Like, I think Kari Zane, isn't she out too? I think. And it's just like so many of their top competitors are getting hurt. Then you got other top competitors going to NXT. Like, why is Bailey in NXT? Why is she challenging for the belt over there? So embarrassing to get somebody else over and can't even get herself over no more. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.